Star Platinum is generally a pretty helpful existence for Mr. Jotaro Kujo, although not without its flaws. Quite specifically, Star Platinum always had this annoying habit of trying to get Jotaro to hit the subscribe button for the New World Review, which, look, to be fair, would grant him regular JoJo content uploaded straight into his YouTube feed. And I would very much like you, the viewer, to consider me as your own personal Star Platinum. Now go ahead and do the thing. Hello and welcome to the New World Review, your source for everything anime and manga, and more importantly, welcome to the Stand Encyclopedia, where today we will be making our first official entry into this mammoth endeavor, beginning with what is undoubtedly one of the most well-known stands within the entirety of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, being Star Platinum. Star Platinum is a close-range natural humanoid stand that is very much known as the ultimate punch ghost within the series. With that said, there is an awful lot more to Star Platinum than that, and although this is a thought that I would greatly contend with, it is considered to be the most powerful stand by various characters within the saga, as well as the creator Hirohiko Araki himself, but we will get into that. In any case, this stand is wielded by the mighty Jotaro Kujo, and it was first introduced to us at the dawn of Part 3, Stardust Crusaders. Now, back in the early days of Part 3, stands took great inspiration from the world of tarot cards, and Star Platinum in this respect takes on the identity of the star, one of the major arcana which represents big archetypal themes and lessons and such, and in the case of the star, this card can signify the feeling of inspiration, as well as renewed hope and faith. You know, all of the inner feel-good stuff that humanity generally strives towards in one form or another, achieving a sense of being blessed by the universe at large, which is why you would probably never want to encounter this card in reverse, because that would signify the exact opposite, including feelings of despair and profound disappointment in life. And a lot of that reflects Star Platinum very well, as it does serve as the primary hope of Stardust Crusaders in particular, and if it does fail in any given situation, then that, my friends, would bring about a true sense of despair in the JoJo universe for both the characters as well as the readers and watchers. Now, in addition to this, Star Platinum may be one of, if not the only stand in Part 3 that might contain a musical reference in its name, although I will stress that this is unconfirmed, but it may be possible that it is a reference to a song called North Star from the album Platinum by progressive rock musician Mike Oldfield, which was released in 1979, and it's quite a fun little jam actually, simultaneously super chill yet somehow full of energy, much like Jotaro himself, although once again this could be a case of simple coincidence here. Now, as a natural humanoid stand, Star Platinum has access to a sliver of personality, although this persona very much reflects its user Jotaro. Star Platinum is often viewed as a silent and stoic existence, which could lead you to mistaking it for a lifeless presence. However, when it launches into action, its true self becomes immediately clear, releasing a violent aura that is epitomized by the ever-famous Aura Aura battle cry. Despite this, Star Platinum is very clearly its own entity, capable of acting without commands from Jotaro, which is seen in its introduction in the series, when Jotaro fires a single bullet into his head and Star Platinum, in the interest of self-preservation, stops said bullet. Although I guess there is also an argument to be made that it was acting under the subconscious desire of Jotaro, who almost certainly did not want to kill himself. But in any case, let's move on to what this bad boy can actually do, because we have a fair bit to cover for an initially simple seeming stand. As stated before, Star Platinum is a close range stand, meaning that at maximum, it can only be positioned about 2 meters away from its user. That is its effective range, which is unfortunately restrictive, but at the same time, that is about where the disadvantages for Star Platinum come to a complete stop. Star Platinum is obviously well known for being a physically dominant existence, which is very well reflected in its statistics, as it achieves a perfect score in the areas of power, potential and precision, speed and durability, which is utter madness, and in theory, it is mere steps away from complete perfection. However, what is holding it back is range, as predicted. However, even in that area, Star Platinum scores a C, which is a fine passing grade, I suppose, and it gives you a very clear idea of just how wildly dangerous the stand can be under the calm, collected and strategic use of Jotaro. Now, in regards to its raw strength, I feel like one of the greatest examples we have of this was during Jotaro's battle with Midler, who used the High Priestess stand, and the gang were trapped in a giant mouth thing, with the only exit being blocked by teeth, which were touted to have the hardness of diamonds. Which, you know, hardest known natural substance on Earth, no big deal, because Star Platinum blitzed right through them like they were sugar glass, which is a stunning endorsement of power. As for speed, well, as previously mentioned, Star Platinum was capable of stopping a bullet being fired into Jotaro's head at point blank range, but that is far from the most insane feat of speed that this monster can achieve, as through a funky informational section on the stand during Part 6, Star Platinum was said to be able to not only equal, but surpass the speed of light. However, there are many things to note about this. Firstly being that this could be an evolution that was only present in the Part 6 incarnation of Star Platinum because it had notably changed by then. But I do also need to point out that this is inconsistent with everything that we have seen from the stand and far from the speed of light as we would know it in reality. Although I am happy to believe that Star Platinum maybe operates on the speed of light as is consistent with the JoJo universe, but even then it's questionable. As is any time an author is bold enough to say that something is as fast as the speed of light, let alone excels it. Basically though, what I don't want is for anybody to think that this is in any way reflective of reality. It is a bold manga storytelling statement, but in the context of JoJo, what we can still say is that this stand is fast AF. But one of the more impressive features of Star Platinum is its extreme precision, which is granted to it by supreme control of bodily movement as well as enhanced eyesight. And to illustrate the eyesight point, I will say that we have seen this thing gaze up to 4 kilometers ahead, as well as being capable of following cards shuffled by a professional gambler/swindler. But with that in mind, Star Platinum is able to perform actions of complex surgery, such as when it was able to remove Dio's parasite from the skulls of both Kakyoin and Polnareff, without any damage to either of them, I should say. And even knowing all of this, we still have not gotten to one of the crowning features of Star Platinum, which would only make itself known at the end of Part 3, when it awakened a teeny tiny ability to stop time, which is a technique known as Star Platinum the World. And obviously this is a carbon copy of Dio Stand the World, from which Star Platinum the World takes its name. And the amount of time that Jotaro can stop differs depending on his position within the series, but in his prime he could stop time for 5 seconds. Although due to neglect in training of the ability, this becomes significantly reduced later to around half a second. Although Jotaro does pump it up to 1 to 2 seconds and eventually all the way back up to 5. Although Jotaro certainly never reaches Dio's prime, in which he was able to stop time for 9 seconds, which is simply terrifying. But this brings us to the use of Star Platinum by Jotaro, who, as we've alluded to following Stardust Crusaders, very much fell into neglect with his own stand. Now obviously this was likely due to not having to face off against stand users every 2 seconds. He really had no reason to invoke it, and thus anyone would become a bit understandably rusty, you know? And stopping time is a pretty big deal, and something that he certainly should have continued to train at least a couple of times a day, in the event of, I don't know, let's say a major universal restructuring threat, but that is all hindsight. The fascinating thing about Star Platinum though, is that this is one of the very few stands that we have seen used over an extended period of time, and as such it has evolved during said time with Jotaro. Very notably in Part 6 its name has been changed completely to Star Platinum the World. But not only that, its stats also changed quite radically as well. So at this point it does still have an A ranking in strength, speed and precision, as well as maintaining its lower scale C rank for range. However, its potential dropped all the way down to C, and even worse, its durability absolutely plummeted to the rank of E. However, Part 6 is a weird situation where Star Platinum stats are given twice, one with its original form very early on, and then one with the world attached to it much later. So it's entirely possible that the durability in this regard may refer to how long Jotaro is capable of stopping time for, which is nowhere near his full potential or maximum endurance of ability. Although it is possible that over the course of Stone Ocean, Star Platinum itself underwent a radical change, and that became reflected in its later stats. In any case, Jotaro does still make pretty fantastic use of this stand, although he could do with a bit of self-improvement. Some other miscellaneous things to consider about Star Platinum. This stand has also shown the capacity to manipulate its body on some level, particularly in regards to the star finger technique, in which it can extend its fingers up to 2 meters, in keeping with its range restrictions, but still to devastating effect, which is great because it gives this stand just that little bit of extra utility, not that it really needed it, but hey, it's there. Furthermore, it also comes with an array of other absurd techniques such as incredible superhuman breathing, which was demonstrated against Enya, when Star Platinum managed to inhale the entirety of the Justice stand, thus resulting in the suffocation and subsequent defeat of Enya. And it really would seem like Star Platinum has that sort of pocket knife utility that spawns from its physical dominance for just about every situation imaginable. Like, we need to visit truly godlike levels of power before Star Platinum even comes close to being outclassed. Now, as for my personal opinion on Star Platinum, it's very hard not to like the stand because it does serve as more or less the flagship for the entire concept. I do, however, take a weird narrative issue with just how ridiculously overpowered it is, but that's nothing new with me and JoJo. Something I dislike about JoJo in general is that stands very rarely come with a cost for power, and some people just have extraordinarily profound strength while others don't, for no good reason. And the ones that do come with that strength generally don't have many drawbacks as a cost for invoking it. And Star Platinum firmly falls into that category. And yes, I get that it is a great reflection of Jotaro himself, but I would probably very much have liked to see something slightly weaker used in a more creative way. I did very much enjoy when it added on its time-stopping feature, but mainly because I love the effect it produces in both the anime and the manga, but it was another one of those made as if this thing was not powerful enough already sort of situations. Probably the thing I like most about Star Platinum though, is that it is a stand that well and truly fits what I guess Araki's original intention of them was, a sort of representation of a person's inner self, which I think gets done to varying degrees of success within the series. I mean, there are more than a few stands I've seen that I don't believe match their users at all, but then again, we also don't really get to know an awful lot of the users in the kind of depth that you would need to make that assessment. But we do spend an awful lot of time with Jotaro, and unfortunately he is a very quiet individual. However, through Star Platinum we do get a glimpse of the man behind that immovable expression, which is kind of scary because Star Platinum can be a supremely violent entity, which tells us that Jotaro has emotions just like any other human being would, especially that of anger and fury, which I guess is why it must have been quite difficult to control at first. But Star Platinum to me also very much serves as a personification of the Joestar bloodline in general, because it was selected to be the entity that would be needed to go up against the ultimate form of Dio, and bring this over a century-old feud to a conclusion, or at least what we thought was a conclusion. So when I think about it like that, yes, I do come to completely forgive how absurdly powerful it is, but despite that, I certainly wouldn't call it one of my favorite stands in the series, as I tend to prefer the ones with more quirky powers. But in essence, this is Star Platinum, arguably one of the most powerful stands ever featured in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, though once again I will emphasize arguably. However, those are the words of Araki himself, who has stated that it is impossible to beat Star Platinum, and that was while Steel Ball Run was being published, so yeah. He may very well be judging the concept of power in a very different way to what I am, but there is no denying that Star Platinum is the stand of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and as such I am honored to add it as the very first entry into the Stand Encyclopedia. But what do you guys think of Star Platinum? Please do let me know down in the comments below, or even join my Discord server. And if you're keen for some more JoJo content, then please do go and check out some of my other videos, or even subscribe to the channel for regular JoJo wonder delivered straight into your YouTube feed. But for now, this has been the New Old Review, and I'll see you next time.